Hey everyone, and welcome to this deep dive where we're going to be exploring the fascinating world of telemedicine.
And I'm excited to be here.
We've got some really interesting stuff to unpack today, from the history of telemedicine to its modern applications, especially here in California.
I think a lot of people might be surprised to learn just how long telemedicine's been around.
Yeah, I was surprised when I first started looking into it, but before we go back in time, let's start with the here and now for folks in California who are thinking, hey, maybe telemedicine is something I want to try. What are their options?
Well, there's this great provider called Stark Medical.
Okay,
They're located in Chico,
got it.
but they actually offer telemedicine services to anyone living in California.
So it doesn't matter if you're down south, up north, in the middle of nowhere, you can still access their services.
Exactly. It's all about breaking down those geographical barriers.
I love that. And you know what else I love about telemedicine? No more traffic.
Right.
No more trying to find parking. No more taking time off work just to go sit in a waiting room.
And especially after COVID,
Yeah.
a lot of people are still a little wary of being in those crowded waiting rooms.
So telemedicine offers that peace of mind too.
Absolutely. And it's not just about basic consultations either.
Really?
With Stark Medical, you can get referrals, lab tests, even imaging done.
Wow.
They can even handle prescriptions through local pharmacies, so it's pretty comprehensive.
So basically, like almost everything you could do at a regular doctor's office, you
Mhm.
could do through telemedicine with Stark Medical.
Pretty much, yeah. Technology has come a long way.
Okay, so now I have to ask the history question
Hmm.
because, like I said earlier, I was surprised to learn that telemedicine isn't this brand new thing.
Right.
So how far back are we talking?
Well, get this. The first recorded use of telemedicine goes all the way back to 1879.
No way.
Way back then, doctors were already using telephones for consultations.
It's a good old-fashioned telephone. That's amazing.
It's incredible to think about those early innovators. And it wasn't just about telephones either. In 1925, there was this magazine cover that showed a doctor examining a patient using a video-enabled radio device.
Hold on, a video-enabled radio device in 1925 that was before television.
Exactly. They were really ahead of their time.
It's like they were predicting the future.
And those predictions started becoming reality in 1948 when doctors in Pennsylvania actually sent radiology images 24 miles via telephone lines.
Can you imagine seeing those first grainy images transmitted electronically?
It must have been mind-blowing.
And from there, things just took off.
Yeah, the 1950s and 60s saw some major advancements.
I read that the University of Nebraska was doing some really cool stuff back then.
Oh, yeah, they were pioneers in the field. They were using two-way television for neurological exams.
Wow.
And even connecting with a state hospital over 100 miles away for things like speech therapy and psychiatric consultations.
So they were already focusing on specialties that were often hard to access, especially for people in rural areas.
Exactly. They were starting to address the issue of healthcare equity even back then.
And speaking of rural healthcare, I was reading about this example from 1967 where doctors in Miami were transmitting EKG readings from ambulances straight to the hospital.
That's an incredible example of how telemedicine can be used in emergency situations.
It's literally a lifesaver, potentially.
Absolutely. And it highlights how telemedicine has always been about more than just convenience. It's about bridging the healthcare gap and ensuring that everyone has access to quality care.
Yeah, imagine living in a remote area hours away from the nearest specialist. Telemedicine could be a game changer in those situations.
Absolutely. And it allows small clinics and rural hospitals to connect with specialists in larger centers, bringing expertise to patients who might otherwise have to travel long distances or go without specialized care.
And it's not a new idea either. Back in the 1970s, some of the first large-scale telemedicine trials were specifically designed for rural populations.
It shows that this has been a long-standing focus,
Yeah.
trying to use technology to improve healthcare access for everyone.
And what's great is that telemedicine isn't just good for patients, it's good for rural hospitals too.
Oh, absolutely. It allows them to offer a wider range of services and even attract and retain healthcare providers.
I hadn't thought about that, but it makes sense if you're a doctor in a remote area and knowing you have access to a network of specialists for consultation and support, that could make a huge difference.
It's like telemedicine is creating this interconnected web of healthcare, bringing expertise and support to even the most isolated corners of the state.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And what's even more beautiful is that we're just scratching the surface of what telemedicine can do.
Oh, yeah. As technology continues to evolve, the possibilities are only going to expand.
It's exciting to think about where this is all headed.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so we've established telemedicine is more than just some futuristic concept. It's a real thing. People are using it.
Absolutely.
But how does it actually work? Is it as simple as just hopping on a video call with your doctor and showing them what's bothering you?
Well, it's definitely getting easier all the time. You know how common video calls are these days for work or just catching up with family and friends.
Yeah.
Telemedicine is basically using that same technology. You click a link and boom, you're face to face with your doctor.
So I don't need any special equipment or anything, like my laptop or even my phone would work.
Exactly. No more clunky, expensive setups.
Okay, that's good to know.
Of course, a good internet connection is important
Right.
for a smooth video chat, but that's becoming less and less of an issue as high-speed internet becomes more widely available.
Right. That makes sense. But let's say I'm having a telemedicine appointment. I click that link.
Yeah.
What happens then? Is it like a virtual waiting room?
Pretty much, yeah. You log in at your appointment time, and the doctor will join the call just like a regular appointment.
Oh,
They'll ask you questions just like they would in person and observe your symptoms.
got it. But what if it's something that needs a closer look? Like how does a doctor check your blood pressure or listen to your heart through a video call?
That's where things get really interesting with these devices called remote patient monitoring devices.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of those.
Think of them as mini clinics in your own home.
Okay.
They can track things like your blood pressure weight, even your blood sugar if you have diabetes. And the best part is the data gets sent straight to your doctor's office.
So it's like having a constant health checkup happening in the background.
Exactly.
That's pretty amazing. So it almost seems like telemedicine can do more than just replace an in-person visit. It can offer things that you couldn't even get at a regular doctor's office.
You're hitting on a key point here. It's not just about replicating the in-person experience. It's about enhancing it with technology.
Right. Using technology to do things we couldn't do before.
Exactly. We can collect and analyze health data in ways we never could before. And that opens up all sorts of possibilities for personalized and proactive care.
That's really cool. But even with all this amazing technology, isn't there something lost? When you remove that face-to-face interaction between a doctor and a patient, I mean, that personal connection can be so important, especially when you're feeling vulnerable or scared.
That's a concern that a lot of people have, and it's something healthcare providers are very aware of. You know,
Yeah,
it's true that telemedicine can't completely replace the in-person experience,
right.
but there are ways to make sure that patient-doctor relationship stays strong.
Like, how do you build trust and rapport through a screen?
It starts with clear communication and active listening. You know, even through a video call, doctors can pay attention to both verbal and nonverbal cues to understand how a patient is feeling. It's also about being patient and understanding some people might be less comfortable with technology, so it's important to guide them through the process and make them feel at ease.
Yeah, it's like any relationship, really. It takes effort and empathy to build that connection, whether it's in person or online.
And, you know, some doctors are finding that telemedicine actually allows them to connect with their patients on a deeper level in some ways. You know, they get to see their patients in their home environment,
Oh, that's interesting.
which can provide valuable insights into their lifestyle and any challenges they might be facing.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about it that way before, but seeing someone in their own space could definitely give you a better understanding of their overall well-being.
It's about seeing the whole person, not just the patient. And for patients, it can be reassuring to know that their doctor is taking a genuine interest in their life and their well-being.
Okay, so we've talked about how telemedicine works and how doctors are working to maintain that human connection even through a screen. But let's be real, there must be some downsides, right? It can't all be perfect.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges or limitations of telemedicine?
You're right. No system is perfect.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest challenges is making sure everyone has access to the technology they need for telemedicine.
Right, not everyone has high-speed internet or even a smartphone.
Exactly. And that can create disparities in who can benefit from these services.
It's like that digital divide we hear so much about.
Exactly. We can't assume that everyone has equal access to technology, and that's something that needs to be addressed if we want telemedicine to be truly equitable.
Absolutely. And even if someone has the technology, there's always the possibility of technical glitches.
Oh, yeah. Internet outages, software problems.
That could be a real headache.
Especially if you're in the middle of an important consultation.
Exactly. And then there's the issue of privacy. I mean, people are rightly concerned about their health information being shared online.
Absolutely. Data security is a huge deal these days.
So how can patients be sure that their information is protected during a telemedicine appointment?
That's a valid concern. The good news is that telemedicine platforms are required to follow the same strict privacy regulations as traditional healthcare providers.
Okay.
They use secure connections and encryption to protect patient data.
So it's basically like sending your health information through a super secure tunnel.
It's designed to keep your information safe from prying eyes.
That's reassuring to know.
Yeah.
But even with those safeguards in place, I imagine some people might still be a bit hesitant to share sensitive medical information online, no matter how secure it is.
That's understandable. Building trust is a big part of telemedicine, just like it is with in-person care. Care providers need to be transparent about their privacy policies and address any concerns that patients might have.
So it's not just about having the right technology, it's also about building confidence and making sure patients feel comfortable using it.
Exactly. And there are other challenges too, like making sure doctors are licensed to practice across state lines and figuring out how insurance companies will reimburse for telemedicine visits. It's a complex landscape that's constantly evolving.
It sounds like there's still some kinks to work out, but it also seems like there's a lot of momentum behind telemedicine. Where do you see this all going in the future?
Oh, the possibilities are endless. One area that's really taking off is remote patient monitoring.
Right, those home devices we were talking about.
Exactly. They're getting more sophisticated all the time, tracking everything from your heart rate and sleep patterns to your activity levels and even falls.
It's like having a constant health guardian watching over you.
Exactly. And it's not just about monitoring. We're starting to see these devices being used to actually deliver treatment.
Oh, wow.
For example, there are now smart inhalers that can track medication usage and even remind patients to take their medication.
That's incredible. So it sounds like telemedicine is moving beyond just virtual visits and becoming more integrated into our daily lives.
Exactly. And then there's artificial intelligence, or AI, which is already starting to have a big impact on healthcare.
Right, AI is everywhere these days.
Imagine AI algorithms that can analyze your health data, identify patterns, and even help doctors make diagnoses.
It's like having a super smart computer assistant working alongside your doctor.
Exactly. AI can help doctors make faster, more accurate diagnoses, especially for complex conditions.
That's amazing. But wouldn't that take away from the human element of healthcare? I mean, wouldn't doctors feel like they're being replaced by robots?
That's a common concern, but I see AI as a tool to help doctors, not replace them. Think of it as a way to free up doctors' time so they can focus on what they do best, building relationships with their patients, providing emotional support, and making those tough decisions that require human judgment and empathy.
So it's about finding that balance between technology and human interaction.
Exactly. And that's what makes telemedicine so exciting. It's not just about replacing old ways of doing things, it's about finding new and innovative ways to improve healthcare for everyone.
Well, we've talked about chronic disease management,
Yeah.
addiction recovery, and even a little bit about AI, but what about other areas of healthcare? Where else is telemedicine making a difference?
One area that's seeing rapid growth is mental health care. Teletherapy has become incredibly popular, offering a convenient and often more affordable way for people to access mental health services.
Yeah, I can see how that would be especially helpful for people who live in rural areas or who might feel uncomfortable going to a therapist's office.
Absolutely. And it can also help address the shortage of mental health professionals, which is a problem in many areas.
And what about specialized care? Are there certain specialties that are particularly well suited for telemedicine?
Definitely take dermatology, for example. Many skin conditions can be diagnosed just by looking at them, making it a perfect fit for telemedicine consultations. You could show a dermatologist a rash on your arm through a video call, and they could diagnose it and even prescribe medication remotely.
Wow, that's really convenient, and it saves you a trip to the dermatologist's office, which can often be a long wait.
Exactly. And we're also seeing advancements in teleophthalmology, telecardiology, even telesurgery.
Telesurgery now, that sounds like something straight out of Star Trek.
It might sound futuristic, but it's becoming more and more real with the help of robotics, and high-speed internet surgeons are able to control robotic arms remotely to perform certain procedures on patients in different locations.
It's incredible to think about how far telemedicine has come and the potential it has to change the future of healthcare. But with all this talk about technological advancements, it's important to remember that there are human considerations as well.
You're absolutely right. As telemedicine becomes more widespread, we need to think carefully about the ethical implications.
What do you mean by ethical implications? What are some of the things we should be thinking about?
Well, one thing is ensuring that telemedicine doesn't exacerbate existing healthcare disparities. We need to make sure that everyone, regardless of their income location or technological literacy, has equal access to these services.
Right, we can't let telemedicine become a luxury that's only available to those who can afford it or who live in certain areas.
And we also need to think about the potential impact on healthcare jobs as telemedicine becomes more automated. It's possible that some healthcare workers could be displaced.
That's a valid concern. It's important to make sure that we're not leaving anyone behind as we embrace these new technologies.
And then there's the issue of data privacy, which we touched on earlier. As we collect more and more patient data through telemedicine, it's crucial to have strong safeguards in place to protect that information from misuse or breaches.
It's a lot to think about, it seems like. With any new technology, there are always going to be unintended consequences or ethical dilemmas that we need to address.
That's true. But I believe that by having these conversations and thinking critically about the potential downsides of telemedicine, we can harness its power for good and ensure that it benefits everyone.
Well, you've definitely given me a lot to think about. We've covered a lot of ground in this part of our deep dive, from the technical aspects of telemedicine to the ethical considerations. It's clear that this is a complex and evolving field, one that has the potential to revolutionize healthcare as we know it.
But before we get too carried away with all the exciting possibilities of the future, let's circle back to the present. Remember, we've been talking about Stark Medical, the provider who's offering telemedicine services to all California residents.
Oh, right. I almost forgot we were doing a deep dive on a specific provider. It's been so fascinating to talk about all the different aspects of telemedicine.
I know it's a topic that really gets you thinking about the future of healthcare, but for now, let's bring it back down to earth and talk about what Stark Medical is offering right now.
Sounds good to me. Remind me again what services they provide.
They have a primary care telehealth practice that's accepting new patients. They offer a wide range of services, from prescriptions and refills to treatment for chronic conditions. They're led by Dr. Brandon Stark and Yvette Stark, a nurse practitioner, and they're both committed to providing high-quality care through telemedicine.
And their phone number is 530-514-0904. Right?
That's it. If you're curious about telemedicine or thinking about giving it a try, I encourage you to reach out to them. They can answer any questions you might have and help you decide if telemedicine is the right fit for you.
So after all this talk about the future of telemedicine, it's good to remember that it's not just some far-off concept. It's happening right now, and it's available to people right here in California.
And who knows what the future holds as technology continues to advance. The possibilities for telemedicine are truly limitless. But for now, let's take a moment to appreciate how far we've come and how telemedicine is already making a difference in the lives of so many people.
That's a great point. Sometimes we get so caught up in what's coming next that we forget to appreciate the progress that's already been made. And with that, I think it's time to move on to the final part of our deep dive.
Sounds good to me. Let's wrap this up and leave our listener with some final thoughts about how telemedicine might impact their own life.
Wow, we've really gone deep, haven't we?
We have. It's been quite a journey.
From those first telephone consultations way back when to the crazy stuff they're doing with telesurgery, now it's mind-boggling.
It really is. But amidst all the technology, all the advancements, it's crucial to remember that telemedicine at its core, it's really about people.
Yeah, connecting people to the care they need no matter where they are.
Exactly. Breaking down barriers, making healthcare more accessible. That's the real power of telemedicine.
And that brings us to the most important person in this whole conversation, you, the listener.
Right. We want to hear from you.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about how telemedicine is changing the way healthcare is delivered. But now we want to flip the script a little bit and ask you, how do you see telemedicine fitting into your own life?
What are your hopes, your concerns, your questions?
Think about your own experiences with healthcare, your needs, your preferences.
Maybe you live in a rural area and the thought of being able to connect with specialists from the comfort of your own home sounds like a game changer.
Or maybe you're a busy parent who's constantly on the go, and the convenience of virtual appointments would make a huge difference in your life.
On the other hand, maybe you're someone who really values that face-to-face interaction with your doctor, and you're not quite sure about this whole virtual care thing.
Whatever your perspective, we want you to think about this. How could telemedicine empower you to take a more active role in your own health?
Imagine being able to access your own health records, tracking your progress, communicating with your doctor seamlessly, all through a telemedicine platform.
It could really transform you from a passive recipient of care into an informed and engaged partner in your own health journey.
Think about it. You could stay on top of preventive screenings, manage chronic conditions more effectively, even seek help for mental health concerns from the comfort of your own home.
It's about giving you more control over your healthcare decisions.
But of course, it's not a one-size-fits-all solution.
Right. There will definitely be times when in-person care is necessary or preferred.
The key is to find the right balance between telemedicine and traditional healthcare based on your individual needs and preferences.
And that's why open communication with your doctor is so important.
Absolutely. Talk to them about your concerns, ask questions, explore the options together.
Telemedicine is a tool, And like any tool, it's most effective when used thoughtfully and appropriately.
Well,
As we wrap up this deep dive into the world of telemedicine, we want to leave you with this thought: the future of healthcare is being shaped right now.
and telemedicine is playing a huge role in that transformation.
But ultimately, it's up to each of us to decide how we want to engage with this technology and how we want it to shape our healthcare experiences.
So keep exploring, keep learning, keep asking questions.
Stay curious about the possibilities and advocate for the kind of healthcare system that meets your needs.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of telemedicine. We hope you found it informative and thought-provoking.
And maybe even a little bit inspiring. Until next time, keep diving deep.